Well, it's Uncommon Fossil, and Pokemon has just released what the starter decks are going to be in live for 2025, which is very important for new players. If you're new post rotation, these are the decks you have to work with. It's giving us some solid decks. And some nice engine pieces. Going to make a few comments on these decks. I will be making videos on in-depth videos on all these decks in the future. So keep an eye out for that. Both the deck, how it works, is in more breakdown, as well as ways it could be upgraded. They've also given us, I'll mention at the end, the 2 new decks for the Battle Pass. So we're all when rotation happens, when Journey Together drops, the Battle Pass resets. We get those 2 decks, and then. Assuming you already still been playing or had been playing, you're going to keep the starter decks from last year. All the cards in your collection stay, but rotation happens. Basically, probably none of the standard decks you have are going to be playable. Maybe a few will, but for the most part, you have to adjust them. But then these 8 new starter decks will be legal, standard legal from day one. So it's a place to start. And I think they've done a pretty good job, all in all, what they've given us. Some good selection. They've given us Charizard EX first off. By the way, there's 8 new starter decks. I don't think I said that. So Charizard EX, very good. High HP, 330. Powers itself up, does solid damage, ramps up as the game goes on. Pairing it with the Pidgeot EX engine, really good. Pidgeot engine is good just for other decks as well. Part of it is what the deck is itself, plus then like engine pieces, which allow. I want to pay attention to that too, because what does that? Those are the cards to kind of help with deck building for other ideas. And we get a Mew EX, which is good. Lets them draw some cards, gives a free pivot, so that's good there. They give us a 1/1 Rabsca that gives some bench protection. I don't know how if that's it's an evolution. That's the downside, but with how useful that's going to be is always a bit tricky. Does it set up fast enough when you need it? Anyway, Charizard's good. The downside to it, this is the I'm not completely thrilled, is they gave it to us as a 2024 starter deck. It was a Battle Pass deck this past year as well. I'm pretty certain about that. So for most players right now, this is not giving them any new cards. It's not really giving any value. It is good though for players that start post rotation over the next upcoming 12 months that are new, because this is a good deck. So I get it. It makes sense here. Next deck is Dragapult EX. Very, very good. I think this was one they needed to give everyone. Yeah, very good. Phantom Dive does 200 damage to opponent's active Pokemon, and you place damage counters, 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench any way you want. The Rabsca in the Charizard it stops that, so it'd be interesting there. The Drakeloak, the stage 1, is a bit of a draw engine. That's good. They're giving us a 2/2 Xatu, which is an engine energy acceleration. I like it. Look, I'm a big fan of Xatu, although I will say Xatu tends to underperform, unfortunately, but I'm glad they gave it, so it lets people try that out, although I think we're going to need to adjust the deck pretty quickly to make it work better. But and then they're also giving us a 2/1/2 Dusknoir, which is good for this deck and just good for other decks as well, so something giving a little versatility with the Dusknoir, placing damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. The third deck here is Goldengo EX, fan favorite one. I think in general it's a fan favorite. I like it a lot. The damage scales quite nicely. I think it's going to fall off a little post-rotation, although I could be wrong on that. The downside is this was a Battle Pass deck last year, so again, for current players, you're not getting anything new. It's a good starter deck, though, I think, for players, again, new players in the next upcoming 12 months. It's not the best deck, but it gives you a bit of a draw engine, and it's fun to play. The other thing is they're giving us a Pheasantipity EX in this deck. Super, super important there. Staple card that everybody needs in their collection. So I'm glad that was in. That was like really critical, dropping a Pheasantipity in one of these decks. The fourth deck, if I believe I'm keeping count here, is Greninja EX. I like it a lot for 1 energy. It does 170. You search your deck for any 1 card. So once you set up, it's good. It can do 120 to your opponent's Pokemon, including the bench. So that's a nice option there. Getting it set up's a little awkward, I will say, but it's fun. So I think that's fine. They gave us a 3/3 Dunsparce with that, and I like that engine a lot. So I'm glad they gave us a Dunsparce engine. It is one of the engines that keep an eye on going forward. So useful there. They're giving us Excalibur with Chen Pao. So some versatility there, and some cards that, you can always build a Chen Pao Excalibur deck as well and just go that route. So I'm glad they're giving us that. Again, not probably the strongest deck, and a deck like Greninja I think is going to be a tricky one for new players, but that's okay as well. Dragon EX, something a lot of fun. I haven't played it a lot, but it is a lot of fun. And all people, another fan favorite, I think. A stage 2, that's the downside. 330 HP is fine. Does 200 damage for 2 energy, and you discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. So a milling 3, damaging 200. Is it good enough, or is it going to come up a little bit short? I'm not sure, but very, very fun there. They're also giving us Blissey EX, which lets you move energy around. And let's see what else here. They're giving Revavroom, which gets some. You discard an energy, draw to 6 cards in hand. So a little alternate engine. I don't think it's the best engine, but that's good. Again, different engines allow for different options with their decks. That's good there. And then Pekarunt with let you do some switching, and you poison yourself, which combined with the binding mochi, you can do more damage. So good there, because the Pekarunt can go in other decks as well. So versatility is one of the things they want to do. The next deck here is Mamoswine, and this is a new one, so we don't always get, I think, brand new decks in these starter decks, but we're getting this. I don't know how good it's going to be. It's a stage 2 fighting Pokemon. Fighting Pokemon haven't been that great lately, but we are getting some cards to make them better. So we'll see how it goes there with Mamoswine. I don't really know much about it. And they're giving us the Qualiquavel, which is an engine, which I haven't really messed around with. But you put a card from your hand at the bottom of the deck, draw till you have 5 cards in hand, I believe. But it's a stage 2, so how's it gonna go? I guess there's a couple different Qualiquavels, so we'll see how that deck goes there. So Pikachu EX. So this is Pikachu EX has been around, but then it's primarily it's a new deck. It's got Blaziken EX. I've always enjoyed Blaziken EX. As well as Iono's Kilowattrel and Wattrel. So some Iono's cards, a little bit Iono's cards in there. So we'll see how this is. I don't really know anything about it, so we'll find out. So if it's good or bad, but it's nice that we have it. So fun to go with it. Oh, they are giving us ace specs in maybe all these decks. So I haven't been paying attention to that. So let me just hit that too quickly. Maximum belts, okay, more damage with that. Sparkling Crystal, Energy Search Pro, which it gets you the energies for the Goldengo deck. We're getting a Maxrod, okay, there. Hydreigon, they're giving us Neo Upper Energy. And then the Mamoswine giving us Grand Tree. So giving us all, I don't think in the past they've given us ace specs, or if they did, they didn't give us this variety of them. I don't think. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. I didn't research that before starting the video because I kind of had forgotten about the ace specs. It's Secret Box, I like that a lot. Just helps you set up, so that's good. So then Raging Bolt EX, this is the last of these 8 new starter decks, a very big basic deck, which does a lot of damage, scales well. So I like that as an option for new players. And then gives them Tealmask Ogerpon, which is a nice engine piece for sure. And then Noctowl engine again. So as well as Fan Rotom, which goes with the Noctowl, and Squawkabilly EX, which is another engine piece. So giving us a lot of, and I have mostly been ignoring the trainers, although they're super important as well. Obviously getting into those when I actually do the full deck reviews. But I like, getting the Tealmask Ogerpon, getting the Noctowl, Squawkabilly EX cards, not just for like Raging Bolt, but versatile cards as well, and getting Prime Catcher, what is kind of the default ace spec. When in doubt for what ace spec to slap in your decks, put in Prime Catcher is the way to go there. So those are all the new decks we're getting. A good set of decks, I think, for new players. So Pokemon did a nice job there. And then the Battle Pass decks is Hops, Zacian EX. That's a good one there, so looking forward to that. And then the other deck is Enzork, which is an engine, lets you discard with trade ability to discard a card, draw 2 cards, and you copy an attack of an Enz Pokemon on your bench with Enzork EX's attack. So I'm not sure that I don't necessarily love the attacking options on the bench, but we'll see how it goes. So so we have 8 new starter decks, these 2 battle pass decks, so we are set up for some new fun. Plus we have the new format where we get a new every 2 weeks, the trainer trials, we get a new format to test out every 2 weeks. So Pokemon Live has been honestly a little boring up to this point, I think, but now a bunch of new decks to try out. Really pleased about that, as well as the new format. Live should be fun to play. Is knock on wood, as long as it actually works properly. Right? There's a lot of changes. Hopefully, it's relatively glitch free, and looking forward to a lot of new cards and ways to play the game. So you can let me know in the comments below what you're most looking forward to, and how do you think the meta, and is the Pokemon Live going to be a fun game to play in the upcoming month with what's happening here? Anyways, take care, have fun, and play some Pokemon.